Let me bring in Sanjay Sahay, who's also joining us now, former ADGP Karnataka. Sanjay Sahay, what is your solution? What is your advice? How do we overhaul the exam system? How do we plug the loopholes, the gaps?
Before getting into what is happening currently, let's get into the history of competitive exams in this country. And UPSC is one of the top examining bodies in India. And very rarely, and I don't think there's an instance from 48, 50, whenever the whole thing started, of a leak in the Union Public Service Commission, and that also of a nature which we have been talking about. So same thing goes on for the IITs, and I think every year there is a different IIT which takes care of the IIT entrance, both the main and the advanced exams. And currently it has been generally seen to be fair and clean and whatever we aspire of. Now it is the National Testing Agency which has come into the crossfire. So primarily the whole issue revolves around the National Testing Agency. So why I've been talking about UPSC and the IIT entrance exams primarily for the reason that there is an institution which creates that expertise in itself. Now NTA comes out of the blue from somewhere and the whole thing starts functioning. So the institutional integrity and the people who have the expertise, they being a part of it, one is the institutional expertise and competence, which is by way of the workflow, by way of design, by way of variety of other things. And second is the people associated with it. Now in the current episode, now you find people who are setting the papers, and you are trying to look for people in somewhere in Maharashtra, backwaters, here, there, everywhere, and they become your subject matter experts, as if the subject matter experts are not available in Delhi or in that particular mechanism in which the NTA is operating. NTA, I think, shows agents and a variety of other things. Now, the cheating or the nature of crimes which we are talking about, which Ashok Kumar has also been talking about. So, broadly, that nature of cheating which we think of and which we need to plug, and what is actually happening is radically different. Now, the way it happened in Patna, they picked up the paper from somewhere, Ranchi to Hazaribagh or somewhere. The paper comes to Patna and all these kids are brought together in a hostel. And they are being trained into that, and when they get into the open and take the exam next day, might be you will not be able to make out as to what has transpired. The whole center shifting over to Seeker and all these places which become the nerve centers, and where the actual cheating is happening in a big way. Even the selection of the centers, there are centers which are created only for this purpose. So one is the examination part of it, the leaking part of it, one is the whole ecosystem. I think that ecosystem is very important, and people who are managing it, they should have the capability both of the domain and of technology. Today 90% of technology, whichever way you take it, that 90% of technology is not going to be wished away. So that is broadly where we are. Now you come to the exam itself. So we talk about paper, we talk about what is the system architecture of the whole examination process in this country. We don't have any system architecture, and when we did a successful NEET, which was a re-NEET, it was more done on a war scale, like a battle. And that particular battle, you have Air Force to literally anything and everything. These exams primarily has to be completely secure, both at the time of paper creation, transmission, this whole supply chain, as much as possible. It has to be people who are of integrity. See, this human thing you cannot remove. And then you
what about going digital? What about going digital, Mr. Sahay?
I'll come
is
to
that
digital.
something?
Now,
is that something that will help plug the gap?
See, end of the day, while doing all these other things which basically create loopholes, the digital is the only way forward. There's absolutely no denying the fact. Even if it is to be done in a physical mode, and you have a question bank of 500 or 5,000 questions, and the paper is printed right there in the examination hall, I think it sorts out large number of issues. Now with going digital, in this country you have been talking about variety of UPI and other things. Those are transactional things, they cannot be replicated in the examination system in a manner because there is a whole process, human and variety of other things which are involved. Exposure time is very important. Encryption, exposure time, and the digital infrastructure. Now, this country barely boasts of a Sarkari digital infrastructure which can deliver. You are not able to reach the servers. There's a variety of other things. Why we have not been able to create a digital infrastructure which can stand on its own feet? Why we have not been able to create one software company which can deliver for the government? So we don't have a cloud infrastructure, we don't have a network, we don't have anything of this nature which can be used successfully across the country. If you take a step further, you do it digital, you do encryption,
Yes.
and you have huge examination centers as you have in Union Public Service Commission across the country. I think large part of the problem will get sorted out.
Okay.
Everything has to be verifiable, everything has to be auditable, and only then things come to the
Okay.
picture.
My
It
final question
also
to you.
helps.
My final question to you: what should be the punishment for those caught, guilty as part of the mafia, the leak mafia?
See, leak mafia does not operate in mid-air. So they have variety of support systems. The punishment, what is available in today, in the present law, I think that will deter. But the punishment has to be predictable. The predictability and the timeline. The timeline goes on extending. I think last 4 or 5 years, whosoever has been caught, I don't think it has ended with a conviction of the nature which we desire. Plus, there is a ban. Now, bans are also not happening. So this is where we are. The predictability of punishment of these people of the highest and the stringent nature, which primarily means there is an issue with the investigation, there is an issue with the prosecution. I will not get into the judicial trial.
I would just like to add to Sanjay Sahay.
All right. Thank
Hello,
you. Thank you very much, Mr. Sanjay Sahay, for joining us with your perspective on this big story.